What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Kofi page. As per the title of this video, I'm bringing you guys this video on how to deal with gold base rushes, as some of these maps have had. I think there's two maps, right? There's this map, and then there's one more Dynasty, I think, right? With the Pocket Natural, or the Natural. Yeah, Pocket Natural, that's also a gold base. So some of these maps have been kind of crazy with this, like, Protoss takes the gold, slams down a bunch of gateways. Honestly, it's something that I also struggled with a little bit. I wasn't really sure how to approach it. For this replay, I'm showing you guys a scenario that I encountered it in, and then I'm going to show you guys a response. This particular response is my preferred response, actually, especially if I scout it in time, and that's going to be the SCV pull response on two bases. Okay, if you're at, I think anyone can do this at any level, but it does take a degree of confidence. So if you're not really comfortable SCV pulling, I understand. I'll be adding a couple of notes, basically explaining what to do if you decide you don't want to do that. Or maybe a scenario occurs where you just can't, right? Like maybe it just doesn't make sense. So, this is a very short game. Actually, it's about, let me check, about 8 minutes. Yeah. So, and obviously I SV pulled, so that's probably why it's a bit short. As for the opener, I play a pretty standard opener. I think in this particular game, I actually might have even been confused about what my opponent was doing. I feel like I remember building a bunker and then being like, this guy is cheating me or something like that. No SCV scout for me. Kind of raw dogging it here. No, alpha male style. He puts a pylon there. When that happens, just build your CC next to it. Don't like, oh shit, he's cheating me, or pull my SCVs to kill the pylon. Just build a CC next to it. Building a pylon that early anyway kind of just delays their build regardless. And at the end of the day, they're not really getting what I would consider to be 100 minerals worth of value. Okay. You just see, I'm still able to very quickly take my natural. It's not a problem. I look for the probe. Unfortunately, it was here, but I tried. So if you see that the scouting probe leaves early like that, go ahead and just pop in there. Okay. And so there I scout. There's some stuff going on there. And then obviously I lost my Reaper. So at this point, I'm still gonna try and figure out what's happening. I built the bunker because I was a little bit confused. It turns out it seems like nothing's really happening. They have the natural, all that good stuff. And wow, I really don't know what to say apparently. What the hell is wrong with me? I really just said like the most common basic thing to ever say in a video. It's actually crazy. But what I'm trying to say is I haven't seen anything unusual for me to suspect that there is a gold base. Okay. So everything looks normal. And unfortunately, I did lose my Reaper, so I don't have another means of scouting. Ideally, you keep that Reaper alive to check that gold base. In a little bit, I'm going to be adding a flow chart to the video that'll explain all the steps in depth. But at this point, it may be worth it to check the gold anyway, even if you don't suspect they're taking it. That way, you just have like a good idea of whether or not they have it, right? Like you could just take the doubt out of your mind. So I think that's actually what I end up doing. That or the medevac scouts it, one of the two. But I honestly would advise, like, just send a Marine across the map if you lose your Reaper. You know, a third base should be going down by like 445 or so. So at that point, there's no third base. I'd be a little suspect. Maybe they took the gold or something like that. Obviously, my opener is very standard. One would mine drop into Raven. I see no third there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Kind of weird. I see the gateways. I'm playing with the mine drop a little bit. But I didn't see a third. I poked in with the medevac. I didn't see a third. So that's what prompted me to scan here. Okay. Because to me, you know what? It really could have been that he had a late third. It really could have been that he had a late third. But what's honestly more likely? That they just took the gold base because they're trying to exploit the map, or that their third just happens to be super late, right? And from what I saw with my medevac, when I went into the main, there's really like nothing crazy going on, right? There's just 3 gateways in a Twilight. I didn't see a Robo. I didn't see a Robo Bay. I didn't see Forge, Temple Archives. I didn't see tech that would warrant a such a long time on 2 bases, right? So the only explanation would have been that they have the gold. Okay, so thankfully I've scouted the gold before about 5:30, which is something that I really like because this is around the time we start to decide whether or not we want to build a 3rd command center or our 4th and 5th racks. I'm going to go ahead and opt for a faster 4th and 5th racks. I am not going to build a 3rd. Okay. I'm also going to pivot to be quite marine heavy. And I'm going to make sure I build some Widow Mines there. So I do want to have a few Marauders, definitely for the Stalkers poking, right? But I want to have mostly Marines to kill the Zealots, because that's going to be the real strength of this RB. Raven setup. I was trying to be annoying with the harassment. I really wanted to poke and prod as much as I can and interrupt mining to have a better push, in the sense that my opponent may not be able to have as many units early on because of the harassment. So at this point here, I'll put up the flow chart. So a reminder to myself to edit that flow chart in here. Essentially, we're going to be following 4 steps. Okay. So the scouting step, adjusting our build order. Okay. Pulling the workers, going across the map, and then the micro. Okay. So all of that is going to be listed right here. I also added some notes at the bottom just explaining what to do if you're not able to scout the gold base in time to where it makes sense to SCV pool. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit so you guys get an idea as to what to do and these scenarios and how to execute it. But this is essentially just a nice simplified flow chart for you guys to kind of just ingrain it in your head. I'll also upload the pictures so you guys can just look at it that way. Well, okay, moving along here. So with that flow chart in mind, we're going to do our execution of the build. We're going to go across the map. And I'm going to load up some harassment to kind of spit around the side here. You don't have to do this. You can just send everything down the middle together. I actually wish here I only used 1 turret. But I'm going to be taking everything. Okay. And you can see I actually have more army supply than my opponent. He's even taking a 4s. He's starting to opt for robos and stuff. But at its core, his army is just Zealots and a few Stalkers. And what do we know is good against Zealots, or are good against Zealots? Are Marines and Mines. And we have that. So I'm going to go ahead and rally my SCVs. Okay. He comes in to try to, like, stop me from going across the map. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I go back. Force the recall. I grab these. I really try to wait. So I try to send my army first across the map and then have the SCVs trail behind them. But in this case, it got scouted because he was planning on jumping on me when I was going to move out. The problem is I had way more units than he thought I was going to have because I opted for 5 racks first. Okay, if I had gone 3 racks first, he may have had more units than me there. Now here, I'm going to fight at the choke. I try to put the SCVs in the front. I could have walked down the ramp a little bit faster as well, so that's a mistake on my part. But bam, insane trade. I'm up 20 army supply. I'm still building tons of Marines, by the way, right? They're cheap, and I'm still mining for my natural. And I'm just going to be DPSing down the Zealots. Look how fast I'm killing those things. Absolutely shredding them, dude. Now, at this point, if I really wanted to, I could start maybe adding a few SCVs to start mining in my main again. I'm going to drop a missile. It whiffs. That's okay. He had blink. Now he's going to build Stalkers, right? He's trying to build Stalkers to basically catch up or be able to deal my army by kiting it nonstop because he sees that it's mostly Marines. Okay. So you can start adding Marauders and that happens again, but usually Marines are just fine. And yeah, I kind of just got cooked there. So that's my favorite response against this, guys. As you can see, it can be very cutthroat if you're able to hit the build order pretty good, like 7-minute move out, SCV pull, +1 Marines. So all of the tips, hopefully the flowchart helps simplify things. Again, I don't really encounter this too much, so unfortunately I do not have other replays to show you guys of similar scenarios. But like I said earlier, this is what works for me most of the time when I do encounter this. So hope you guys try it out. Hopefully it works out. If you have any questions about what to do, maybe if there's a 3CC thing going on where you just built a 3rd command center and you kind of scouted it late and you want some more clarity on that, feel free to let me know in our Discord chat. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in the next video.